Hi, I'm Matt with Schematical, and welcome to the CTO Coffee Hour. With me, as always, is Dominic DeMarco, and today we're going to talk about Tech Debt, the video game again. Cheers, Dom.
Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. You know, usually there's a topic. Usually we have a little conversation beforehand. Usually there's a blog post or something else that we're going to discuss. But today you said, no, I'm going to save everything for the video. So I have not seen any of these updates, any improvements, any changes. I have just seen a little bit of animated GIF pixel art that I assume I'll see running across the screen here in a few minutes.
Yes, I got up today at 4 a.m. I had this in my head, and I'm like, because I've been struggling to make the core gameplay loop just fun enough to make it to get you the vegetables. Sorry, like you want to cover up the vegetables, as Mark Wahlberg says. You're trying to get people to eat their vegetables, give them the healthy stuff, which is to learn, but you want to put a little bit of gamification in there. And I have been struggling to get that to the point where I'm like, this is fun, but I've discovered something today that I think will add to it. And sorry for those of you on the audio version, this is one where it would benefit you from the video version. So, Dom, can you see? Oh, I have to add this stage. There we go.
Yep.
All right.
Let's just do full screen. There we are.
All right. You got it? Good. All right. I'm letting you DJ that one.
All right. Tech Debt, the video game.
I should probably hit play. 1 second. I got to actually boot it up. This is the developer screen. I thought I had it on there. Yeah, there we go. All right.
Ooh, okay. That's a new effect when you come in and it zooms in on the boss man.
Yes. I mean, we had a tutorial in there. I don't know if you saw the tutorial, but I've got a full tutorial that we can walk through if you want to. The fonts right now, I'm playing with fonts. These are not going to be the final fonts. I'm trying to make them more stylized. But I'm just going to go to just get started for a second. And I don't know if you've seen a bunch of these mechanics. You know what? I probably should do yeah, we can walk through the. No, because it's going to mess with it. We'll do the tutorial later.
Do the tutorial.
Okay.
Do the tutorial. All right. Let's start there.
And I'm just going to start over real quick so we can do this. All right. Start tutorial. So people will enter through the door each day. That's not that new. Start day. You're in charge of a small team of developers. Here's one now. And I don't know if you can see, there's a kind of an internet cloud background I've added in there. This part I'm still working on. This is the Schematibot, and I know it makes it look like this is the server, so it's not quite there. But let's start by building a server. So
that's your Schematibot's going to be your Sherpa that you can ask questions of or things like that, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I think I might just call them Schematical Bot to make things simpler. But we can go ahead.
So you're now building your first server.
Yep. Building this first server is telling us we can use the time controls on the side, which is pretty standard to speed things up. You've got a little build animation, which I think you've seen. And now network packets will start flowing in. And I'm going to make it so there's a bunch of internet pipes, not just one. So you'll notice that there's network packets that are looking in text like that. And you'll notice that there are binary type ones, which are the cats right now.
Cat GIFs, the only reason Reddit exists.
Yep. Notice each packet type is a different load that pops up when they're processed by the server. So if the load gets too high, the servers can't handle it, it'll freeze. So we've got that just automatically freezes there. You can see the more you fail, and it doesn't quite work in the demo, or in the tutorial, because you can see the time's not clicking on the tutorial. But you can see you don't want to fail, more than 50%. It actually decreases your daily income. So until you research technology that monitors the services, you will need to manually tell your DevOps engineers to fix the frozen infrastructure. So we're going to tell them to fix it now. And our little guy should come running. I got to tell him to stay
far away. He was on lunch break.
Yeah, I got to tell him to stay a little closer. His wander protocol lets him wander a bit much. Server's back online. Great work. You can increase the server size. So we can upsize it, which he's going to go do. So this stuff you're familiar with. This isn't like the kind of mind-blowing stuff, because I haven't actually been able to add that in the tutorial. A little bug there you can see. Running everything on one server is going to work for long. Assign your team to start researching. So you've seen that one before. I do have meta progression.
Researching what now? Dedicated database?
Yeah. I'm researching dedicated database there. I will say I have it meta progression. So if you you have to unlock everything after dedicated database. So these are unlocked because I've been playing it obviously thousands of times at this point. I'm going to speed him up, but they'll go ahead and they'll do his research. And while he's doing that, he's actually getting experience points, XP, which lets him level up, and you get to choose how that goes for him. So congrats.
So give me some ideas of how you would level somebody up.
We'll get there, and just give me a second. We're getting there. But so first we're going to finish the building here of the dedicated database, which will give a bonus of takes 25% of the load off any text pack that goes through here. So this thing, makes it just easier for this thing to handle text traffic or API traffic, as you'd say. So well done. Notice the load cost has gone down from 20 to 15 there. So one of your team members has leveled up. So, okay, pause. Okay, there's a bug there. I don't know why it's not showing up that, but if we can breeze through that in the main game. Damn, I think we might actually be soft locked if it doesn't level them up, actually. Give me a second. I'm going to try and force them to level up a different way. I was working on the
bottom, the green and the red bar.
This shouldn't be displayed in the tutorial because this only counts in like a real scenario. But eventually you have, I know how many packets you're going to have to service in a day, 30 of them right now. And so we've failed, since it's a tutorial, it doesn't matter. But in a normal day, it would, if you failed 10 of those, it'd be 33%, failed and 66% succeeded. So either way, I got them so I can level them up now. Oh, I still got to fix that bug. But so now you can pick things like fast learner, so he levels up faster. FinOps expert. I will show you, not on the call because I don't want to show the whole world. I have. I'll zoom out so you can't read it, but I want you to understand how wild my technical document is for this thing. I have a pretty extensive list of features and tech trees and things like that. So I'm not zooming in because I don't want to tell the whole world what my plan is yet. I'll show you once we're done with the call. But so either way, I'm going to pick FinOps expert so he learns a little faster. Okay, now, so hold on. Go back to normal speed. I got a little bug with the speed there. Great work. Another way you can level up your gameplay is to do releases. And I don't know if you saw that one, but basically you go to the whiteboard and you select what you want to focus on. So we go there. And so this is code changes we're going to push out. And so like image optimization, sales page optimization gets you more daily income. Relational database design means less load per packet. So you've got several of these things and you can level them up as you go. And depending
and you can
on your
choose, this is where as you play through the game multiple times, you'll say, okay, this skill, this upgrade, this whatever it is would serve me well or better than the other ones. Is it better to get new tires or new brakes on your race car?
And it's randomized, so you won't always get the same thing. I mean, right now there's not a lot of them, but as you go, you'll have to select different kind of expertises you want to focus on. And so, but then you kind of can navigate things, and they'll prevent security issues. There'll be, so there's a bunch of different things. But this is how you kind of level up, not just your NPCs, but like the entire kind of gameplay, the run. So we're gonna do sales page optimization there, and what he's doing right now is researching. I need to make it so it's like a little something above his head. What is
some sort of indication that he's actually working on something there?
Yeah, I think I broke something there. It's funny. So I build the tutorial out and I get it all working, and then let's do this one. Let's see if I can. Is he stuck? What's going on there? Well, it's in a weird state, so I might have to just back out and show you how that mechanic works without this. Let's go and have to do a full restart. My debug menu is not working there. I ripped it apart pretty good this morning, so I'm not surprised there's some bugs in there. It's funny I'm talking about bugs because you're about to see one that I actually did plan to be in there. All right, just get started for today. So this was working before build. So I'm going to do image and research, go and start day. So he's off to his merry little way. And it's an interesting thing. The more mechanics you add in, the more you have to actually be able to give the users ways to automate things. And so
Mhm.
I'm going to make it
Because
so your main
you
guy,
can't click 40 different things on the screen at the same time.
yeah, you want like the newest mechanic to kind of, or mechanics to be taking your focus. So eventually you'll be able to automate development by hiring interns and other level people. So we're working on that. So developer or deployment's ready. The day ended though. So we didn't fail anything. We got a net income of $10. So we're in a good spot for today. I'm going to have him deploy 01 starting tomorrow. So he goes in there and I'm working on this. This is a work in progress. We've got a message.
This is new. What do we got here? What's going on?
So that's basically, I'm going to show that you've got your release. And at that point, it'll tell you if you get like a bonus. So say, basically you've got a release that says you're going to get, 10% faster. Well, right there, we basically are going to roll a dice and say, well, did you get a bonus of 20% or 30%? Is it a legendary, basically?
Mhm.
So that's what that's supposed to be, is simulate that kind of slot machine type behavior where you see, hey, and so it'll get a little more exotic. But that's one thing I've been working on, is adding a little dopamine spice to it. But that's not even it. What happens when you release things is you have a chance to introduce a bug. And so how do you get rid of bugs? You got to debug them. So this eats up your time. So depending on the player's skill or the NPC's skill and their level of coding, they might introduce a bug. And so, the worse it is, I guess the bugs are moonwalking a little bit. But making that
you need to have
all morning making that walk animation and death animation.
A Donkey Kong hammer to smash that thing.
Yeah. So, and then you go back and you pick up, where you left off here. And so say, okay, we want to do image optimization level 2, and he'll get working on that. So he stopped researching and he gets back to it. So we've added some depth to it. He leveled up again, but it's the end of the day, a little bit of a clash of the user interface there. I guess what selected it for me there. And now he's back to developing. So,
0.02.
Now, another fun thing that I'm working on with the bugs is that I'll show you after this deployment, we're going to get that kind of screen that needs a little massaging, but it's the start of this. What do you think about the little graphics here?
I think it fits.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So what'll happen if you watch the bug right now, he's going to go, I'm going to follow him real quick so we can see. His inclination is to cause mischief. So he'll actually run around and steal your items and steal network packets and things like that. Yeah. Until I go tell him to debug it. And as the levels get higher, the bugs will get faster. They'll get, they'll have different abilities. Like right now, they're just going to steal a network packet or two, but they'll be able to freeze a server. Man, I got to make it so they don't wander around the side like that. You can't see nothing. But all that behavior was just added this morning. So again, there are bugs in my code to do bugs.
But I like it because it randomizes a lot of things. It adds a little bit of chaos.
Personifying.
And do you get XP points for squishing bugs?
Yeah. Yes, you do get XP points for attacking. I call it attacking, but I kind of want this game to be school friendly. So you don't really attack. Like we talked about this before. Yeah, well, you debug, and just it's a robot looking thing, so no one's that mad about it. But the users also can be attacked by the bugs, the higher level bugs, which basically just their HP, their hit points is just stress, and if they burn out, then they quit. And so that's how you lose your guys, and you got to kind of heal them. So I've got some mechanics around that. But the big
you've put a lot of those upgrades into some of your players, and the last thing you want to do is lose one of your highly skilled, highly educated, fast players. Or what's the player isn't quite the right term. What's the right
NPC term? Is what I call it in the code. This is in some ways the genre called a colony simulator, colony management game, because what you have is a bunch of little guys that you're managing that make up a colony of sorts. That's another genre that we're borrowing from heavily. Oxygen Not Included is a game you probably haven't heard of, but that's a big influence of how I was designing their mechanics. Really fun game. I've poured way too many hours into, and I hope this gets nowhere near as complex.
Mhm.
But circling back, the big
I've got faith. I've got faith in you to make this mighty complex.
that's the tricky part is you want to make it complex enough, but not so complex. Like these little pointers, I've had to do. Oh, okay, I clicked on the pointer. I didn't mean to do that. But that little pointer that was there, that those kind of call to actions and simplifying it so the users actually know how to do stuff. And like this thing should have a pointer above it because it's clearly in the red, telling me to click fix. This one should. So you're gonna have like telling the user, communicating the user in a streamlined way has been one of the more challenging things here. But I think I'm getting the hang of it. So, but I'm sorry, I keep getting sidetracked here. So the big revelation this morning was to personify the bugs and the outages and things like that. Like, yeah, there's a bug in the code, but how do you show that? So I've come up with a bunch of different enemy type NPCs, we call them, that will run around and wreak havoc in different ways. So not just that straightforward bug, but like the interns are an example that are going to have, there's a technology that I'm going to put in there called the least, oh my gosh, I just did a writing on this. Why am I struggling on it right now? Principles of least privilege, which a lot of startups, you don't want to give your intern or your junior dev access to write to the production database day one, right? Because then they can create trouble. So there's going to be like levels ups you can do to prevent the amount of damage that they can do, or the odds that event will occur. And so if you level that up high enough, then it won't matter. But if you don't bother to level that up, then the interns you're going to hire that'll help increase the speed of the development process, and the junior devs or whatever, they will cause other issues for you. So there's all sorts of interesting ways.
And I can also see that the ratio of call it interns to developers and call it low-level developers to high-skilled developers impacts a couple of things. One might be your development team. Another might be the number of bugs, the severity of bugs. Does the bug run around the screen, or does it actually immediately knock over the server?
Yeah, I mean, in the interns, once they get upgraded enough, they can actually attack the bugs, but they definitely, they factor into how devious the bug or the enemy is that rolls up on you. They factor into how many hit points it's got, how, what the damage is. And then it's kind of like you've got to choose. You prioritize. You could leave these bugs running around as you go, but they're going to steal more network traffic, or they'll grow or something like that. So it really is tech debt. You've got to okay, either do I squash the bugs or do I focus on new features? And that's the balance I've got to put in here. And
do I continue researching something, or do I go chase the 4 bugs that are out there? And that is a very real choice. When you're building your backlog, where do the bugs live? Do they take priority over the next version, or do you say we can tolerate it for the moment? And a bug isn't necessarily something that's going to knock over a server. A bug could be an inefficient loop that's chewing up far too many resources.
Yep, I got memory leaks is another type of enemy that will come up and freeze stuff.
Don't make me flashback to C languages.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a whole bunch of different things, but it'll be personified in some way and move around in the environment with you until you take the time to, fix the memory loop, but it'll just steal your time and your resources until you've bothered to fix it, which creates this nice balance.
And over time, having lived this world before, if you ignore enough bugs long enough because you're working on the next release, there are so many bugs that you cannot ignore them, and you have to completely change directions to address that before the new release is ready.
Yeah, I mean that's the idea. Is if you leave the bugs for too long, like maybe they grow, maybe they stress, maybe they cost you money. They hurt your income because they're stealing packets basically. So then you've got customers complaining, your daily income goes back downwards. So basically, like right here, you saw I failed a bunch. It actually had a very profoundly negative effect on my daily income. So if you failing before when I first started this was just you didn't get paid that day. Now it actually applies this multiplier to your daily income because you're losing customers that would be coming back tomorrow in this model. So it has a very profound income if you go down. So it's just this juggling act that the users.
I like the chaos and the randomness of the bugs and how they can negatively impact different things in the gameplay, such that it's added an immense amount of chaos and randomness to the game.
With it personifying them or making them pop off the page, that was the big revelation there, because that makes them real. You know, before they were just kind of like a text box, and it just wasn't interesting. It wasn't that cool. But now they just run around and haunt you, and it brings everything to life. You know, that feeling.
You know, they're chaos bots. They're chaos monkeys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'll once we're done, I'll walk you through my design documents. And I hate to be that way to everybody out there on the internet that's foaming at the mouth for this, which is approximately no one.
No, leave them wanting more.
Yeah, keep you excited. So I don't know. We've gone about 20 minutes, and I need to rebalance the game, and I need to fix a bunch of the UI jank. But a new release should be out, fingers crossed, on Friday, and I'll have a write up for it. And if anybody's interested in play testing this, you can go to schematical.com/game. Like I said, we're on 0.0.9 right now. I'm hoping to get 0.0.10 out there. It's not a demo yet. It's barely a play test, but feel free to bang on it. I have seen some people taking an interest. Thank you for those of you that have reached out to me via chat or email, and Dom will tell you about those in a minute. But
bravo.
I like when my work is received. So I'm excited to see where this goes. So,
all right.
Any other thoughts before we head out?
I like it. I haven't seen any of this, and it feels like this filled the void in what the game was needing versus it just building servers and building infrastructure. It fills the void.
Yeah, I think we're on to something that could be an entertaining loop.
This is all you, man. I do nothing but emotional support for this project.
I know. I appreciate that. All right. With that said, I'm Matt Lee with schematical.com. We do this for a living. We help teams run more efficient clouds. We help people manage their technical teams. We do a lot of that stuff. So if you have any problems with, keeping your servers online or vetting talent or figuring out what to do with AI, reach out to me. We're also, if you want to check out schematical.com/community, we're in the process of launching that. So feel free to check it out if you'd rather a group coaching setting. And yeah, that's it. Have a great day.
Well,
cheers.